Sup peeps, my name's Ian. I've not been about much lately, but I sell books on eBay and Vinted. I'm going to try a few other places. But today I'm here to talk about the oldest book I have ever found in a charity shop. Oldest. It's pure ancient, by the way. I've got it very carefully wrapped up here. I'll show it to you. There's not an awful lot to see, to be fair, because it's kind of a plain old binding. But there we go. Look at that. Spine's a wee bit worn away. It's been like half bound, so you can possibly just make out the leather half that's brittling away from the spine. But it's all in there, and then it's just been a board beyond that. But it's in Latin, which kind of makes it difficult to work out exactly what it is. And I shall try to pronounce the title of this. I say it's Latin, so I really haven't got a clue. Afrifodina Artium et Scientorium Omnium exerpendi solertia omnibus literari amantibus mon frata ab Hieremia Drexelio Societa Sciotate Isviv. I don't know. I'm going to hold it up and very carefully, and you may or may not be able to make out anything of that. Let's put a wee bit of light on it, shall we? Does that help at all? Can anybody actually see that? I don't know. Anyway, if you could see that, you'll also see that there's a wee date down the bottom there. It says Antwerpi, which is Antwerp, anno 1641. 384 years old. This has been about longer than America. Do you know what I mean? And surprisingly, the pages themselves are in remarkably good condition. It does look like it's just been kept like that for the last nearly 4 centuries. No exposure internally, and it's just crazy that something like that has survived that long. And it was just in the bins at the charity shop. It was just chucked in, ready to go off to the guy that does the pickup and sells the multi-world of books. Just thrown in there. Yeah. Incredible. So I obviously had a wee look to see what else was happening in 1641. So it's so long ago. What is going down back in that time? And first of all, I came across, it was the start of the Irish Revolution. There you go. Charles I was on the throne, and the Irish Catholic uprising in Ulster. So that's kind of when that all started. It's been going on a long time, hasn't it? It's just crazy thinking back all of these pieces. Lots of other little bits and bobs, nothing that I could really make head nor tail of. But I did discover that it was before shoes were invented. This took me very much by surprise. I thought shoes had just existed forever, since people had feet. They wore shoes. You know what I'm saying? Kind of makes sense. But back in 1641, the practice was still to just stuff your foot inside an animal. As simple as that. If you had big feet, you'd need to go out and find like a hare, something like that, kill it. You could either lop off its head and extract its innards and shove your foot in that way, or if you wanted to have like more decorative shoes and they kind of keep the head, then it was, a rectal insertion. Get your foot stuffed right in there, and then you'd have a nice wee hare head or a rabbit head or whatever it was flopping about on your toes, which was absolutely fascinating. I had no idea that existed. And there's animals of every shape and size, so it really meant that anybody could find the right pair of shoes without getting into like big predatory wolves and such like, because nobody's feet are that big, you know what I'm saying? But a badger's probably too big as well, to be honest. But rabbits, hares, working the way down, moles and voles, And then for your wee babies, your toddlers, you just go and catch a couple of wee like dormouse, the odd vole, things like that, and then that would fit your children's feet as well. So that's how they made shoes back then. I didn't know that was true, but apparently it is. Anyway, the serious matter of the wrapped up little book. I've been trying to decide what to do with it. There's not an awful lot of guide as to value online that I can find. There is one listed somewhere, Abe eBooks, whatever way you say it, over in France. It's a Munich edition from a couple of years before. It was first published in 1638, so this is 1641, and the plates travelled around, and this one was when it got to Antwerp and it was published there. The one from 1638 I think was published in, or printed I should say, Munich, so it's worked its way down to Antwerp from there. Couple of ideas about what to do with it. I did just stick it up on eBay with a price to see if I could get any interest, and hopefully people start asking questions that would give me a more specific direction to go and do the research to find out more about that particular text. It hasn't really worked so far, but today I'm going to flip it onto an auction and just let it run and see what happens. It's too, I was going to say valuable, I don't know if it's valuable or not. It's too ancient and wondrous a thing for it just to sit somewhere in my mess waiting for something to happen to it. I just want to get it to the right person as quickly as possible. So whether that's a collector, somebody who sells antiquarian books who can actually get it to the right person, that would be the preference. But just for something to have survived almost 400 years, 400 years for a little pile of paper, it's, I mean, I just find that kind of like phenomenal. Really, really difficult to get the head around, but it is an incredible little thing. So it's going to go into auction today. Today's Friday the 16th of May, and I'm going to run it for a week. So we'll keep track of it over the week, and then obviously share what happens when we get to the end of that week, which means I might have to actually do some editing and get wee snapshots as the week goes on and pull it all together. But I'm not going to edit this video. This will just be the norm. Me talking to the camera for 5-10 minutes and then turning it off and uploading the video, because that's the easiest way to do things. So yes, 1641. Wait a minute, I'm sure I've got a better idea of what it's called if I look up the thing that I looked up when I looked up the thing before that I looked it up on. Where are we? Right. Orifidina artium et scientiarum omnia exerpendi solertia. And that's where the title cuts off and all the different descriptions and listings that I've found of it. So there's a few like kind of reprints of it. So, you know, the new rare books. Jeremias Drexel, apparently. Let's say there's one listed for a couple of £100, but I've no idea if that actually its value or not. There was another one listed for more than that, but I seem to have lost it. I don't know where it's gone. In fact, this is the exact one that I have. 1641 hardcover. Antwerpen, Jan Knoberts. 11.5 by 6 centimetres. 311 pages. Vorig Echen, kapitaal starker bestos, kloch ruleder alter, besetrins rinter, all forsats, ingesmaucht noch solider just. See, the trouble is, everything that I find on it is from somewhere not English, and my language skills are not great. No, they are not great. So the German here I am struggling with. At least I can recognise that it's German. Let's see if we've got a bit of English in here. Yes, Drexel, a Jesuit from Augsburg, was court preacher to the Elector of Bavaria for many years and author of a long series of devotional works which enjoyed great popularity among Catholics and Protestants alike. Auf uns senden wir ihm in Foto de Busch wie E-Mail sprach. Yeah, so somebody's saying if you want any more pictures, they'll send it in an email. Yeah, and that's That's what this little book is. 1641. 1641. Get that into my noggin. It's pure ancient 1641. And by far, far the oldest book I have ever found to sell on eBay.